Hey kids, it's broccoli soup night. I want to show you what I got together so far to get ready for the cook. Alright, this is about a 6 to 8 quart pot with a lid. Got some unsalted butter, some diced onions, some shredded carrots, some diced celery. In the back here I've got my chicken stock. It's a low salt or unsalted chicken broth. I have a can of evaporated milk. I have some cornstarch here for thickening if we need it. Back here is some bacon, which I probably will add. Your dad probably will not. And over here is 4 generous cups. I'm talking about, I shoved it down in there pretty good, of broccoli, which I'm going to pre-cook in the microwave, just enough to get it done as we put it in the pot for later on. So I'm going to start the cook with getting some butter and onion started, and then we'll see how that goes here in just a minute. Alrighty, so I put out a good generous tablespoon of butter on here, what you'd call like a pat. Good tablespoon of it. It is in there, it has thawed. We're going to throw the onions in there. And we're going to let them start to sweat. We're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then we're going to take our broccoli, which I've gotten started over here. I put it into a microwavable dish here. I'm going to take and add a little bit of water to it and a lid and stick it in the microwave for probably about 2 or 3 minutes or so and let it start to steam and soften up. Okay kids, so the onions have started to turn translucent. I've seasoned them with the salt and pepper. I am going to now take and add my chicken stock. I have 2 containers of my chicken stock here. And that looked good. I'm pretty picky on what this is. And if you really want to know what it is, you can ask. But it's a low salt version. You might see part of the container here. In the meantime, you can probably hear the microwave cooking here as well. And it's got our broccoli steaming in there. Look at this. Look at that. Good. Thinking about fixing this with some burgers tonight. That might be good. Alright, so I got all my broth in there. Now I'm going to add my carrots. Boy, that just about got me, didn't it? Okay, so put my carrots in there. We'll put the celery in there. And before you know it here, the broccoli will be done. Yep, there's the timer on that. I'm going to grab that out of the microwave and shove that in here as well. See if I can do that one-handed. I'm not sure if I can or not, but we'll see. Whoop, that might be fun. Okay, nope, going to have to need 2 hands. Be back in a minute. Alrighty, I got it out of the microwave. We're going to dump it in here. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'll get my knife here just a second to show you if you can see the steam coming off of it. This is on 3 minutes. All 4 cups of this here is on 3 minutes. It is somewhat tender on the stalks, but not completely cooked. And this is going to be great when we stick it in the soup. So here she goes. All 4 cups of it. Boy, that's going to look pretty. I don't want to miss any of that good stuff. We're going to put that in there too. There we go. Okay. All right. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the lid on this puppy and just let that start to slowly cook. And we'll come back to it here in probably about a half an hour. Looks good though, doesn't it? Okay, kiddos, so everything's been cooking now for about 20 minutes. I walked away for a little bit and I could smell it. It was smelling good. So I thought I'd come down and get the next step ready. And let me show you what I'm doing. Okay, this is a can of evaporated milk. I am going to pour it into a measuring cup. I do not want to dump this right into the soup broth because if you do, there's a very good chance of curdling. So we're going to temper this a little bit with the broth that has come out of the pan. So I'm going to scoot this over here just a little bit. I'm going to grab some of this. Very gently and slowly just kind of pour it in there. Give it a little bit of a stir. Just going to bring this up to temperature a little bit here. And it doesn't matter if we get some of the vegetables in or not. It's all going to be good anyway. I'm going to just kind of check that. Let's do it one more time here. There we go. Well, while I'm scooping, I'm going to do something else too. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I got this coffee cup over here. We're going to make some thickening with that. We're going to use the broth that we've started. So I'm going to grab a ladle or two of it, because you don't want cornstarch into hot liquid. It just turns nasty. So I'm just going to pour that in there. A couple of ladles full. There we go. There's another one. And we're just going to let that cool a little bit while everything else is cooking. I'm going to go ahead and just start slowly adding this milk, this evaporated milk to it here. Add a little bit. Oops, you can't see, can you? Let's try that. Add a little bit there. Make sure we get it all. Give it a swirl. Oh, there we go. It's starting to look more like soup broth, isn't it? Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to add a little more butter to this, probably about another tablespoon of butter or so. And there, it's going to go right into the pot. Okay, I'll give that a swirl too. And in the meantime, let's see if we can't start in. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do that one-handed either. I'll show you here in just a moment. Okay. Okay, so we got that cooking. The butter is melting, and that's wonderful. And what I've done is I've come over here and I took and added a little bit of water in this because I want to try to cool it down a little bit. I don't know if you can't see it on there, but it's still steaming. And then I'm going to take a generous, I do mean generous, see how you can see that there? That's just a regular tablespoon. We're going to put that in there very gently and start stirring it in. And as you can see, it'll start to dissolve. And that's what we want it to do. And this is going to be some of the thickening that we need for our soup. I also drug out some half and half, and I might end up adding a little bit of that to it as well, depending on whether or not it thickens the way we want, has the right flavor. I'm going to add just a tiny bit more there. I wish I can give you a precise measurement on it, but I don't. So we're just going to take that now and just very carefully dump that in there. Give it a stir. Okay. Get that all incorporated in there. I'm going to put the lid back on this guy and just let it cook for a little while. Okay. And then we'll come back in a little bit and check it. It's looking good, pretty good so far though. Check that out. All those good vegetables. Gotta have your vegetables. Okay, kids, so it's not thickening up as much as I'd like. So I am going to add to it about half a full package of cream cheese. I'm going to just chop it up in little chunks and plunk it in there and let it simmer a little bit longer. I added a little more salt. I added some garlic powder to it as well because I like the flavor of that in there. And it definitely needed some more salt though. And we're going to let it cook a little bit longer here and flip it around here. Okay, so I added a little bit already because I had a partially opened package of cream cheese. I don't know if you can see that in there already. See it's starting to come in here? It's going to start to melt. I'm going to add, about, like I said, another half a package into it and just let it start to thicken up in there a little bit more. We'll see how it does. Okay, kids, so I've been letting it cook. It is not as thick as I would like it to be, but that's because typically if I made something like this, I would put in some instant potato flakes. But since we're trying to watch and stay away from those type of carbohydrates, it's going to be a little on the thinner side. Still tastes great though. I've checked it all out. Then a little more salt, a little more pepper. That seems to be all the seasoning more I needed to do. I made sure that I got all the cream cheese incorporated, ended up using a whisk and whisking it really hard inside there, breaking everything up just in little tiny chunks. I'm just going to let this cook. And here in a little bit, we'll be making burgers with this. So there'll be burger and soup night. And I think this will turn out fine. Once let it cook a little bit longer, be fine. So I hope you enjoy and be blessed.